Wednesday, March the 31st. Lake level's right at 916. It's been there pretty consistent the last few days. They've shut the generators off, still got quite a bit of generation going, but lake hasn't changed much, but a few inches. But that's a foot above winter pool and a foot below summer pool. So it's at a good level, and Corps did a good job of keeping it down with all that rain that we got. Water temperature on the lake, it depends where you're at. Last few days I found a lot of 60-degree water up in Long Creek and up the Upper James, and actually seen a few buck bass up there, some trying to make beds. So I think if it's going to get real cold tonight, that may slow things down, but next week or so we should start to see several fish starting to move up making beds. But the water temperature in the main lake, it depends where you're at. It's anywhere from 53 to 55, 56. But been catching them pretty good on a crankbait, on a rock crawler. And I fished different areas of the lake. I fished down by the dam today. I fished yesterday Kimberling City to Baxter to around Dance Creek. And there's no specific place in the creeks I'm catching them. We've caught some all the way in the very backs, and I've caught some out on the main lake. Main thing I'm looking for is rock, the right type of rock and wind. And it seems like channel swings, whether you're in the creek where it changes from a chunk rock to a gravel. And the same thing with out on the main lake. If you've got a channel swing where it swings in tight to the bank, points just inside of the points. Pretty much I'm just covering a lot of water and trying to fish the right type of rock that's got the best wind on it. And throwing a variety of different colors. Doesn't seem to be any certain color working best. Phantom Green's working real good. Stone Cold's been working real good. And then Red Craw as well has been working good. And I've actually caught some on a red wigglewort and a little Strike King, 3XD. I think there's a lot of different ways you can catch fish. Right now, it seems like if you want to catch numbers of fish, the Upper White River, there's a lot of fish in that 6 to 12 foot range. You can catch them on a little Ned rig, catch them on a little Kitech, scratching it on the bottom. I think you can probably catch them on a split shot. You don't hear much about a split shot anymore ever since we started throwing Ned rigs. Doesn't seem like we throw them as much. But I think you catch them on a split shot with a little fish doctor or centipede. But it seems like there's a lot more active fish, smaller fish up there. My better fish have been coming more down in the mid-lake area. I'm just not getting as many bites. Some days we may only get, 8 bites, 7 bites, but usually out of that, we'll scratch out a good limit of fish, with a 3 or 4 pounder, sometimes 5 pounder each day. But like I said, we're not getting a lot of bites. The key to catching them, or at least for me on the crankbait, is I've really got to slow down and just work it real methodically. Almost like kind of sweeping it through some of the rock. And it seems like if you can keep the bait in about that 6 to 8 foot range, if you're parallel on the bank or 45 degrees, seems to be about the best. Some areas, there's a little bit of slime, especially if you get up around some trees, but for the most part, I've been able to fish wherever we want without too much problem with slime. And we've had mixed fish every day. We've catching some really good smallmouths, a few largemouths mixed in, and a few Kentuckies. I think there's a ton of Kentuckies that are still out there deep that haven't moved yet and probably won't for a few weeks. And there's a lot of fish out there deep period that are going to start to make the move in as the water warms up. So we're really getting into a good time of the year fishing where just about whatever you like to throw, you can catch fish on. Now, I have been catching some fish on a 5-fish ultimate finesse jig, 7/16 and a 9/16. And basically I'm fishing it in the same places I'm throwing a crankbait, throwing it up to the bank, and instead of working it back real slow, I'm working it like you would a wobblehead, just keeping it in contact with the bottom and reeling it real slow. And a lot of these fish, even in that gin clear water, have been up there extremely shallow. I think a lot of the fish I've been catching up there are ones that are females that are up there not spawning yet, but you know, getting ready to, looking for a place to do it because all the tails and stuff on the fish have been pretty clean. So I think there's just such a variety of baits that's going to work, that is working, and it's going to continue to get better. I think as the water warms up, there's going to be more and more fish coming to the bank. I think you could set out there with a Carolina rig and, you know, say maybe 12 to 15 foot, or a wobble head, or, you know, football jig, catch fish out there, and that's going to get better and better as well. Now I've got a little deal up here on my trolling motor. I've had a lot of people asking me about what it is. And what it is, for those of you that have got gardening live scope, this is a LSM mount. My transducer is actually mounted independently from the trolling motor. The little pedal here, you notice that actually turns the transducer so that I can scan different directions while I'm fishing without moving the trolling motor. It's a pretty awesome deal whenever you spot lock down. You can spot lock into the wind, and you can still use your Panoptics or your live scope, you know, scanning it to the left or the right. If you're going down a bank crankbaiting, you can set it at a 45-degree angle and keep your trolling motor going down, you know, going straight to go down the bank. But check them out. It's lsmmounts.com. I got mine over there at Ulrich Marine. I've had it for about 4 months and just absolutely loving it. Works great. And it took me, you know, a day or so to get used to not turning my transducer with the trolling motor, where I got it, you know, individual on the pedal. But you can also set it up, if you don't like the pedal, you can use buttons. So if you get a chance, check them out at lsmmounts.com. Till next week, good luck, good fishing.